I'm looking for our point guards to really control those end of quarter situations much better, and it's something that we've got to, as a staff, help them with. So we spent a good portion of today talking about end of shot clock situations, end of quarter situations, and that's where I need to see some growth.
Here we are. Episode 3 of Run It Back on KCSN. I am your host, Jazsmin Halliburton. And if you don't know, now you know. K-State volleyball. How y'all doing this afternoon? My God. 5-set road victory in Allen Fieldhouse against number 14 KU. I'm just round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all did the damn thing. Oh my goodness gracious. I had to watch it back. I wasn't able to watch it live, but I was following on Twitter. I was following people who were live tweeting everything, and I'm sitting here just shaking, jittering, because I'm trying to refresh this page as fast as I can. And each time I'm like, okay, set 1 down, set 2, 1, 3 down, 4, 1, 5th and final set. Man, y'all make my heart feel happy. Y'all really do. We talked to Shaylee Myers last week. Y'all heard the interview. She was saying about what they need to do in order to get this win against the Jayhawks on the road. Once again, 14th ranked. And they did exactly what they say they would do. Now, I'm going to read y'all off the sets, right? I'm going to read off a couple of stats before we get real into the nitty gritty. All right. K-State lost the first set 14-25. Came back, won the second set 25-17. Really got into it. Lost the third set, 18-25. Fourth set, gritty as hell. They were able to win that 25-23. And then finally, in the deciding set 5, 15-8 to win in Allen Fieldhouse. You know how hard it is for a K-State team to win in Allen Fieldhouse? I don't even know the last time a K-State team did win in Allen Fieldhouse. It's hell. Teams outside of the state of Kansas just started figuring out how to win in Allen Fieldhouse. It's a hard damn place to play. And people showed up for that game. Shout out to KU volleyball and their fans for really making that environment tough. But hell, shout out to K-State even more for actually coming out with a win in that game. Snaps, gold stars, cookies for all of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and read off some more stats for you. Okay? Anaya Clinton, MVP of this here game. 16 kills, 3 aces, 2 blocks, 14 digs. All right? Light work. From start to finish, she was on one, and Lord, we love her for it. Let's go ahead. Shaylee Myers, once again, she was a guest on the show last week. She had 15 kills, 2 blocks, and 16 digs. Now, she started off the game a little bit slow, but when you call her, she's always on time. Last few sets, she was able to really get going where she ended up with the 15 kills. Defense, spectacular. And let's go ahead and stay on some defense. Bro, I'll tell you, the defense in this game was spectacular. It was spectacular. Not only did Simone do her thing, she kept them in this game. She kept them in each match, each time extending rallies, putting her body on the line. She was in the right place at the right time the majority of this 5-set game. She was doing her thing, but still just overall team defense was excellent. It was that extra effort. I know we talked about last week how even Shaylee was mentioning, I mentioned it to her, that when they were playing on the road against these ranked teams, the toughest portion of their schedule, it's not like they were getting outplayed. They weren't getting ran out the gym. They were close. If it was not extending rallies or rallies not ending on their way. It was the little things. It was the little things, but they were able to fix those little things, and that's what I think got them the win. It was just their complete heart, their refusal to leave that building with a loss, to not have KU beat K-State 9 times in a row, right? They just had enough of that. you could see the heart and you could see what pure hatred does when you're playing against your rival. When you're playing with pure hate for the whatever's on the chest of the other team in front of you, that's gonna do a lot. It's going to do a lot. And that was just that refusal. Like, we are not going to lose this game. And you could see that. You could see that in this game. Now, something that I want to highlight in this was extending the rallies. Once again, talked about that with Shaylee Myers last week, how they weren't maybe extending rallies long enough. They weren't in the right places at the right time. It was little things. But they were able to extend the rallies against the Jayhawks and win those rallies. Now, mind you, KU is not number 14 for no reason, right? You could see how good they are because they were extending these rallies just as much as K-State was. And they were both doing so well defensively that you had no choice but for this game to really be decided in a fifth set. They were doing the damn thing. Both teams were, and I'm just glad that K-State was able to come out on top. Now, this win in Lawrence puts them at 11-6 and 4-5 in the Big 12. I want to say they're still 9th in the Big 12 standings. Now, before this win, K-State was projected first 4 out in the NCAA tournament, right? But now, since they were able to get this big win against number 14 Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse, that catapulted them. And now they're projected, if the season were to end today, it's projected that they would be in the Austin Regional and that they would play 6 seed Florida in Omaha. That is, once again, if the season ended today. They still got a tough away schedule that they still have to finish out. They still have to do the job, okay? Because right now on the line is a first tournament appearance since what? It's been a few years. I want to say about like maybe 2016, 2017, but I don't want to be steered wrong. I have to check back with that later. But still a long time since they've gone to the NCAA tournament, right? Now they have this opportunity. They can absolutely take what they did in that match and catapult them even further. Let that really be the turning point of the season. Now, mind you, I'm not saying they were doing bad. They're now at 11-6. They were at 10-6 before coming into this game. It wasn't a bad season. They were just on that bubble of trying to get to the ultimate goal, which is the NCAA tournament, right? Now, since they were really close before, this should able to put them over the top to really start making some noise in the conference to ultimately get them where they want to be, and that would be in the Austin Regional against 6 seed Florida. Then after that, let the chips fall where they may, right? But once again, shout out K-State women's volleyball. Got Coach Jason Mansfield getting his first win against KU in his 3rd season. KU got a squad, all right? KU got a squad. There's someone I do want to highlight from KU's team, Giovanna Zelinovic. She's a freshman, 6'7". A part of me was thinking, like, girl, where's your birth certificate? Because there's no way you're 19 playing like this. But she is. She's going to be a problem. Zelinovic, she had, 16 kills, 3 aces, 5 blocks on the night. She was literally doing everything. In fact, when K-State had their having their most success or their most runs came when she wasn't on the floor. All right. You have a 6'7" outside hitter who moves the way that she does. She's going to be a problem, right? She's going to be a problem, but still shout out to her. Shout out to KU. Good matchup. Can't wait to do it again in a couple of weeks, right? Now we're going to go ahead and go on to another K-State dub. That is K-State women's basketball, because yes, it's that time of year. The most wonderful time of the year is basketball finally getting back up and running, because it just goes up and up from here on out. K-State women's basketball had their first game of the season, which was an exhibition against Tarleton State. They made the trip down to Texas. They were able to leave with a win, 78-57. Now, this is pretty much a brand new spanking team. It is. Taryn Sides is the only returning player that had playing experience. that is on this team. Does it hurt that we had a lot of our players transfer? Yeah. Yes, it did. I was like, oh, we could have had something special. But I understand everybody makes moves. They gotta do what's best for them. I understand. But then that left with the task of Coach Mittie needing to build a new roster from the ground up. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. This is a brand spanking new team. Now, understand, this is an exhibition. It's a glorified scrimmage. Can't read too much into one game, one exhibition at that. Put a brand new spanking team. But what's stopping this team from being the best damn 3-point shooting team in the country? But damn, I feel like there has to be at least 2-3 more big shooters than we had the last couple years that really know how to light it up, put it through the nylon. That's real. I like it. I understand. It's one game. It's an exhibition game against Tarleton State. Yada, yada. It ain't a Big 12 school. It's not another Power 4 school. I get it. But when you got it. From behind that 3-point arc. I'm gonna go ahead and spit some more stats. All right, for you. K-State shot 44% from 3, 46% from the field. Okay, get into that. 3-point shooting was great though. All right, and then free throws 73%. They had 44 rebounds on the night. Out rebounded Tarleton State 29-44. They did have 2 more turnovers. In Tarleton State, they had 19. Tarleton State had 17. But hey, racking it up on the steals. K-State was able to get 12 steals, forcing 17 turnovers to Tarleton State's 8 turnovers, right? Now let's get into a little bit more numbers here with the new individuals that are now on this team, right? Azalea Arenas, all right? She had 22 points, and she was 5 from 9 from 3. There we go. I was really impressed. With her skill, what she's able to do off the dribble. Now, there were some turnover issues. It's not just her. There was turnover issues essentially with everybody. You just heard me say they had 19 turnovers throughout the game. Once again, first game, exhibition. Things are going to be a little, not the cleanest, going to be a little dirty. But what I was able to see from her ball handling skills, she was kind of at the point a little bit. It was kind of between Arenas, Tara Sides, and one of the international players, Gina Garcia, kind of handling the point, right? So I liked what I was able to see a little bit from them. Now, this was a game that Taryn Sides struggled a little bit. Offensively, had a few turnovers, but she low-key ended the game on triple-double watch. She had 8 points, 6 assists, and 9 rebounds. This is a definition of somebody who, if something's not working offensively, how else can you impact the game? And that is the 9 rebounds and the 6 assists to go with it. Okay, now she had a different role. Looked like she was handling the ball a little bit more than she has in the past couple of years, kind of at the shooting guard spot. Obviously, the best shooter on the team, or one of the best shooters on the team the past 2 seasons. So that's where she has been. So that's where she finished the game at, primarily handling the ball. You had 5-star freshman Jordan Spicer. She had 10 points on the night. She was 3 for 10 from the 3-point line. One of the best 3-point shooting seniors in her, at least in her class at a high school. So that's one of the reason that her ability beyond the arc is going to be super duper helpful, and part of the reason why K-State might be probably the best 3-point shooting team in the country this season. And then you had Tess Heel transfer from, I think, Stanford it is. She had 11 points. She was 100% from 3. She was 3 for 3, 4 for 4 overall in the game, ended with 11 points, right? Now, that's there. That 3-point shot is going to be there. And they were able to find the either open man or whoever was the hottest at the time. Now, this is a team that still needs to gel, obviously. This is their, second, I guess, 5-on-5, because I think they had a scrimmage with another team a few weeks ago, a secret scrimmage. I'm not sure who. Then they had this game against Huntington State as an exhibition. So obviously not a whole lot of experience to go with it. Of course, the new team hasn't had a whole lot of collegiate experience playing anyway. So obviously needs that time to build relationships, how a certain player likes to play, how a certain player likes to cut, where they like the ball, this, that, and the third, just things that you would need to know the more you play, obviously. But they were able to make that extra pass, keep swinging the ball to find that open man to knock these 3-point shots down. I like that. I like that. Now, inside the arc, I feel like that's a lot more that can be explored. Granted, Coach Mittie, I saw like one of the interviews that he did after the game. He was keeping it very vanilla. You could see that he was keeping that very vanilla. But when you just keep on swinging it around the wing, finding the open shooter, and they were able to knock that down, that's how you get those 14-made threes from very, very good 3-point shooters that I think could be better 3-point shooters than we've had the past few years. That's very exciting, right? But of course, first game, things that can be cleaned up a bit. Defensively in this game, kind of more to be desired. Coach Mittie has had very good defensive teams over his last few seasons, especially. Defense was a little in this one. They did up the intensity, I want to say, in the second quarter of this game. They were able to pull away. They were able to make more 3-point shots. I think that probably fueled their defense a little bit more on the other end of the floor and kind of being a little bit more sticky. And then you could just kind of, it was an ebb and flow type of deal when it came defensively, because in the third quarter, Tarleton State came back a little bit. Tarleton State was upping the defense, especially around the perimeter, trying to kind of slow down that very hot 3-point shooting that K-State had, especially in that first half. So that's something that'll need to be explored a little bit more. But overall, for the first game, I liked it. I liked it. Another player I want to highlight in this is Gina Garcia. She is the international player from Spain. She's got accolades, right? Now, in the minutes that she played, I want to say, how many minutes did she play in this? 17 minutes. She had, 2 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. But hey, 4 steals. She was in one of those ball handling roles, something that, of course, as Coach Mittie will tinker with the lineup these next few games early on in the season. I like the ball in her hands. I do. She ups the pace whenever she's out there. She's playing very good defense. She was able to get those 4 steals. I think she plays smart ball. Obviously, things are going to be a little bit different when you haven't played collegiate basketball before, when it's the international game compared to the game that we play here in America. But in the flashes that I got to see, I liked it. I very much did. She's pushing the ball forward. She's going to try to make that extra pass as well. When talking about swinging and finding the open player, she was a part of that as well. So I liked what I was able to see from her. I liked what I was able to see from Arenas. Also another international player, Nastasia Claessens. I'm going to get these names eventually. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. She's another international player from Belgium. She was actually drafted in the WNBA. I want to say pick number 32, but she decided to forego the WNBA and play in the United States collegiately, right? And so it'll be really interesting to see what she does with that. I think she's a 6'1" guard forward. I think more so with the forward, at least the 3 position, possibly, of what more she's going to be playing at. I liked what I was able to see from her. She got a couple of post-up moves in her, something that I definitely want to see more, because I feel like didn't see enough of it in this game. But once again, one game, exhibition, you're not going to go that deep into your bag in an exhibition game. I understand that. But I know she's got a bag. Now we all just need to know exactly how deep that bag is, right? But that's a lot of things to throw at y'all for, I know, one game, and something that we're all going to be continuing to watch as we learn this new team, right? We have been spoiled the last 2 seasons with Yoki, with Serena, with the Glenn twins. We have been completely spoiled in what we've been able to see. So now we are going to be in kind of uncharted territory a little bit, but it's also exciting to see what exactly they're going to have in store. And we're going to see a little bit more of what they have in store because I have a very, very special guest coming to join us in the second half of this show. None other than Coach Mittie himself, coming back for a third season in a row to join me on Run It Back. You're not going to want to miss what he has to say. So we'll see you right back here in just a few seconds.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Hey, NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one. And that's because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. First touchdown scores to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. So your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. The bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Run It Back. I have a very, very special guest, none other than a man very familiar with the show and K-State women's basketball head coach, Jeff Mittie. Coach Mittie, thank you again for coming on the show, man. Like, you are literally reliable. I really appreciate it.
Well, I like the show. I like talking hoops, so it's that time of the year. So glad to be back.
You said the magic words. It's that time of the year. I'm so excited. This is the sport that's always been my bread and butter, at least for the majority of my life. So I just love this time of year. And coach, of course, first game, at least exhibition game, was on Monday night playing against Tarleton State. Now, that was a pretty good litmus test. Obviously, it's an exhibition game, kind of like a glorified scrimmage for the most part. But I think I saw a lot of good things, but you're the man behind all the magic. What did you like from that game and what did you not like?
Yeah. Look, we've got one returning player from a year ago that played college basketball for Kansas State. We had 6 players in that game that had never played a college game, period. It's one of the reasons why I scheduled a road exhibition game. I thought it was a unique opportunity. Tarleton was opening up a brand new arena. they're coming off a WNIT appearance a year ago. I wanted to test what I think is a talented young group, but a group that still doesn't know, how do you do things on the road? Film session. How do we do things? How do we break things down with shoot-arounds, practices, all the above? So I thought it was a great dress rehearsal for us. I think typical of any early season game, we're going to be a team that there are going to be a lot of highs and lows here. We saw us shoot the basketball very well. We think that can be a strength of our team. I saw a really good improvement from the Minnesota close scrimmage to this game in terms of our rebounding was much better. I felt that defensively, highs and lows, too many open shots. Too many things fundamentally that we've got to do better. But one of the things I've told people philosophically for me, the exhibitions and the close scrimmages matter, but they matter from the standpoint of I want to get players minutes. And everybody gets caught up in the result, but the result to me is the least important. I've got to see players play together. I've got to see rotations together, and I've got to see which players are going to fight through bad things, because we all know that when you're making shots, players play with more energy, but really good teams, they're not relying on the result. Their habits are their habits, and we're still creating those, but I saw some things that I liked. And as you would expect, I saw some things that were light years away from being where I want us to be.
All right. So I know one thing that I was looking at. I know the role of Terran sides. You mentioned it earlier in your answer that you have one returning K-State player who had played minutes last season. And I saw her handling the ball at least a little bit more in this exhibition than she has in any of her experience that she had the last 2 years on this team, right? So how does her role continue to change, of course, as a player and also, I guess, as a leader as well, being the only returning player or with playing experience?
Yeah, it's a great question. A couple things. Taryn had been injured a little bit earlier in this fall, so it's kind of limited us moving her around. So I did want to get her more minutes at the point guard spot because quite honestly, she's played more two-guard spot, and that's what she played last year on the floor a lot with Serena at the point. So it was a good opportunity for her to really play that point guard spot. I also wanted to get Arenas a look at more action off the ball, and because I think those two can play either. And Arenas had played more point guard the first scrimmage that we had. So it was a good opportunity to do that. I thought Taryn had good moments. I thought that Arenas obviously played very well off the ball. So I'm excited about that we can move both of those two around. And then I think a player that we're really excited about, just a young player, Gina Garcia, really played well, particularly in the open floor. So we think we've got three really good options at the point guard spot.
Okay, and kind of deep diving at least a little bit more with that point guard spot. And of course, I can go with overall as well, because you just listed with Arenas, with Gino, of course, with Terran sides. And what do you typically want to look for these first few games when trying to try out these different lineups with those three fairly what looked like dynamic guards when they were all three on the floor?
Yeah. I want to see how much they progress, certainly in the half court. I think that's where we've got to execute better. You saw some breakdowns in that. We had two end of quarter situations that we did not get good shots. And I told the team at halftime, I said, I'm glad Tarleton burned us with that. I'm glad they came down and made the three. And I think some of them were like, why are you glad the other team's scoring? Well, my points get better made when the other team makes us pay, particularly in an exhibition game. And we messed the play up. We took an early shot, ball went out of bounds. We gave Tarleton the ball back with 9 seconds to go. They buried a three at the other end, and that's on us. Tarleton should have never had that opportunity, but that's why you have this. So I'm looking for our point guards to really control those end of quarter situations much, much better, and it's something that we've got to, as a staff, help them with. So we spent a good portion of today, talking about end of shot clock situations, end of quarter situations, and that's where I need to see some growth.
Okay. And more so on the growth, not only just for the guards, but for the team as a whole, because you mentioned something that you didn't like all that well was defensively in this exhibition game. And of course, a Coach Mittie team, they know how to play some defense, right? And of course, with a new team, not a whole lot of collegiate experience on the floor, but defensively, how do you get them to really kind of up the ante a little bit as they go through these first few games? How do you get this defense stronger?
Yeah, it's a great point, because we have so many young ones that they've been able to get away with bad habits, or they've been able to get away with reacting instead of what I talk about, playing early. You know, if you're guarding a great shooter at the college level, if you wait to see what they're doing, you're probably behind the play. You've got to be able to physically get into them, disrupt timing, disrupt some things. And we see a lot of our young players react way too much right now. I think the best way to do it is just get them minutes on the floor. And, there's time and experience are the two things. What I like about these players is they have the desire to be really good. So when we have sat down with them, film sessions, showed them, we've seen them make good improvements. Now, how quickly they can do that? Well, it's got to happen pretty quickly, because we're going to face better and better teams as we go. And I just thought there were too many open shots. I thought there were too many late rotations. But like I said earlier, I want to see our players, how do they come into practice now to get better after seeing that on film? How do they come in and work? And I think the only way to do that is to get them some game action. So we're going to see some of this throughout the non-conference. And I think what you'll see, Jazsmin, is my hope is that the more minutes they get on the floor, the more minutes they come into practice, they'll improve so much more. And I think this team has the opportunity to be one of the biggest growth teams we've ever had. I think we can be vastly different in March than we are here in late October.
How are you able to, what's this identity going to be? Are you going to try to make it kind of similar to what you had in years past, where you guys had a lot of success? Or do you just want to see the players that you have now and try to form an identity with what they're able to show you?
Well, I would say this. We started it a couple years back when Lee was going through all the injuries. We want to be less reliant on a dominant post player, because Aoka had just such struggles with the injuries. And I thought we were a very efficient offensive team with or without her last year. And I thought that was a big reason for our success. So we've really implemented more of the ball screen action. And so we can really run that with undersized centers. We can also run it with centers, but that has been good. And I think Coach Nick has done an excellent job of kind of organizing the offensive staff and guiding that area. I think our team continues to get better and better at it. And, we ran it a year ago with Kennedy Taylor when Yoki was out. So this isn't, we got 10 new players, but Taryn knows what to do. Taryn's been in it. And so Taryn has a pretty good feel for this offense. But we're not going to be as post dominant. We're not going to have the gravity that we had a year ago with Yoki. So we're just simply not going to have that action. So there are some things that we've taken out, and then we'll try to play at a faster pace this year. You're going to see us, I don't think it'll be for us. We're going to try to get 30 really good looks at the 3-point attempt. We feel like this team has a chance to really shoot the basketball well. We're going to judge that off of how many good open looks we're able to get our team, not how many attempts we get, how many good attempts do we get. And if we can continue to get good attempts like we did the other night, then I think we're going to knock down a pretty good percentage.
Absolutely. And kind of keeping on that 3-point percentage, y'all are going crazy from beyond that 3-point line the other night. So is that something that you were looking for when trying to build out your roster? Were you trying to find some shooters who are able to hit it from essentially any point of the floor, especially beyond that 3-point line?
Yeah, we had a very efficient 3-point shooting team last year, but it was primarily built off of the three big 3-point shooters in Poindexter, Jalen, Glenn, and Taryn. This team actually has more shooting depth than a year ago. And, you saw that the other night. You saw Jordan Spicer hit from deep. You saw Arenas early in the game really get off from three. You saw Nastya Clausen's knock one down. And then you saw Taryn get some. And then in the fourth quarter, Tess Heel took over and got, she ends up 3 for 3 from three in the game. So we've got better depth than we had a year ago shooting. So, yeah, it absolutely has been one of our emphasis in recruiting. We felt like we signed one of the top high school 3-point shooters in the country in Jordan Spicer. We felt like we returned a great shooter in Taryn Sides. And then as we looked at players, I liked Arena's efficiency as a young player for Louisville. Tess Heel was over a 40% shooter last year at Stanford. And so we identified some other shooters that we felt like could really complement this offense.
All right. And now, final question for you, Coach. You got two international players with, of course, Gina Garcia and Nastya Claessens. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize. But what do you think their international experience will bring to the team this season?
Yeah, both of them won gold medals this summer. They've played at a high level. They've got great experience there. Nastya was actually a late add last to the Olympics and on the Belgium roster. So she's on the senior national team. Gina won 2 gold medals and was the MVP at the under 20s. The game over there is vastly different than the game here, though. So there's going to be an adjustment period. So we're going to have to be patient with that. We did not get them on campus till August 22nd. So you're talking about they haven't even been here. They've barely been here 2 months. And so there's going to be an adjustment. But Nastya can really fill up a stat sheet. She's going to do a little bit of everything. She had a plus 28 plus minus the other day, which was fantastic. Gina Garcia is a really exciting point guard, great vision, really understands the pick and roll game. The offense she runs with Spain is very similar to what we're running here. So there's that familiarity. But the physicality at the guard spot is very different here than it is in Europe. And so she's got to get used to that every day. But, I'm excited about both of them because they do have great experience and they come in as they're more mature because they've probably lived away from home just because of the way the system is over there. They've left home earlier than American kids leave home. So they tend to come over here with a little more maturity. And they know the why a little bit. They know the why right away. They're coming here differently than an American player. But they've been great additions, and I think they're going to have an excellent career here.
All right. We love to hear it. Well, Coach, that's all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you would like to add or for people to know about your team this season?
No, I think we're going to be an interesting team to watch. I think that there'll be some bumps here, but it's been one of the hardest working teams that we've had. Today's an off day for us. We come off the long trip. We bus down to Texas, and I love the bus trip early because I think you just kind of lock them in there. It's they joke that I do it because I want them to appreciate when we charter flights, and there might be a little truth to that because we can take it for granted, but this group has really worked hard. Now what we're trying to figure out is how connected can we be, how can we play better together, I think that's going to be fun to watch over the course of the year. So it's good to be back. So I'm glad to be back anytime you need me to be on the show.
That is music to my ears, Coach. You will definitely get a call, an email, a text message, whatever it is for me to get you back on here as many times as I need.
Hopefully we'll play well enough that you'll want me back. So there you go.
Man, even if y'all stink up the joint, knock on wood, everything, I'm going to call you back to answer the tough questions.
All right. I hope that's not the case, though.
That's not going to be the case. Well, Coach, I appreciate you for coming on yet again for another season of Run It Back. And everybody watching and listening out there, you can catch K-State women's basketball with the home opener against Omaha on Monday, November 3rd at 6:30 p.m. on none other than ESPN Plus. Coach, once again, I thank you for being on the show. Really, really appreciate it.
All right, Jazsmin. Thank you.